Fighting games may not be the most popular genre anymore, but the people who still love the genre are among the most loyal of any gamers. Unfortunately, fighting games haven't been as rampant on Android as many would have hoped, and there aren't many amazing options available. 2018 saw some pretty big releases. There is some hope that this genre gets better over time. Here are the best fighting games for Android. EA Sports UFC. It is one of the most popular fighting games currently available. It features decent graphics, a roster of 70 MMA fighters, including both male and female stars, and tons of in-game content to play with. The controls are pretty bad, most of it is just tapping or swiping. There isn't hardly any room for creativity. However, it's not a bad way to spend 5 minutes at a time. It's an EA Sports game that has in-app purchases. Many fans of the EA games know what to expect with that. Injustice, Gods Among Us 1 and 2. They are the two of the most popular fighting games on mobile. However, like the most popular fighting games, the mechanics for both are a little bogus. It's mostly just tapping a bunch of time until someone wins. Aside from that, they with a decent roster of DC Games heroes, tons of stuff to do in the game, and online multiplayer. Mortal Kombat X is another fighter by the Warner Bros. With roughly the same mechanics. Neither of these games are great, but they're both decent time killers. Iron Kill Robot Games. It has been around for a while and has a bit of lame name, but it's a decent fighter. It allows you to pick a robot and go head to head against other robots. Much like the fighting games of old, there's a branch storyline you can play through. You can also level up your robot to become more powerful. It has a variety of events including league wars, restricted fights and limited time events to keep things interesting. It's not the most complex of the fighting games, however, it's still not half bad. Tekken. Its mobile game did not live up to its hype. It's still not a bad time killer though. It takes a page from Injustice book. These aren't any real fighting mechanics in this game. You collect move cards and use them in battle. Thus, the part of the Tekken that made it great doesn't exist here. Still, the game is extremely popular and full of nostalgia for the fans of the series. Those looking for a challenging fighting game should look elsewhere. However, if you want more stuff like Injustice 2 or Mortal Kombat X, this is right up your alley. Chronoblade. It is one of the newer fighting games for mobile. It was overshadowed a bit by Tekken and Street Fighter releases in early 2018. The game features brawler elements along with RPG, arcade and side-scrolling mechanics. There is also synchronous PvP. You select one of the 4 characters, learn their moves and then do battle. Each character has around 30 ground and air attacks. There are also some fun customization features available as well. It's a freemium game. However, the mechanics aren't cut in order to make it work. Like many other freemium fighting games, this one is good. Fight Club. It bills itself as an action-adventure fighting game. The game contains 20 levels, various equipment to help yourself out, and even some superpowers. It has nothing to do with the movie of the same name. Well, most of the fighting takes place in dimly lit basements or at night. Aside from that, though there is no resemblance, it's a decent little time killer that should get you through a few afternoons. The only downside is the advertising. It's fairly aggressive and Punch Boxing 3D. It is the first of a few boxing games on this list. As with the most boxing games, the gameplay is a bit slower than the combo fighters and you can rely more on the block and strike moves rather than movement. The graphics are alright and the controls seem to function as intended. It's a bit unfortunate that the controls are essentially confined to block and punch, but that's how it goes sometimes. The audio is also pretty bad. You can also level up your character by fighting at the gym and there are a variety of accessories you can unlock. Street Fighter 4 Champion Edition. It is one of the big fighting game releases of 2018. It's not without its problem though. The full game features a decent selection of characters and actual fighting mechanic. It also includes several somewhat broken but functional features like Bluetooth controller support and online PvP. I'll be honest, this one still needs some work. However, Capcom seems up to the challenge with a swath of updates in the first few weeks of the release. Even half broken, it's still one of the top 10 best fighting games though. The trial version is very basic though. This is definitely one you have to pay for. Prize Fighters. It is another one of the newer fighting games. It's a retro style boxing game similar to those from the SNES era, the 1990s. It features simple controls, player and ring customization, a progression system, social features and more. The developers also promise online multiplayer at some point that should elevate an already above average experience. There's a good one for fans of retro fighting games. The in-app purchases aren't as bad as the competitors either. Shadow Fight 3. It is the latest game in the popular fighting franchise. It picks up where its predecessors left it with some differences. For instance, the series shed its trace graphics in favor of fully animated character models. Most of the game remains the same. The mechanics also received a bit of revamp in favor of something a little more modern. That's unfortunate because the mechanics in the previous games were fairly unique and fun. In any case, you can't go wrong with any of the Shadow Fight games. Just keep in mind that they are freemium and make for a better time killers than deep, engaging fighting games.